Welcome to the off-season for UConn men's basketball. I'm Avery Becker.
And I'm Noah Keaton, and this is Hurley's Hoops.
Hurley and the Huskies have their dreams come true.
So this is going to be a bit of a different episode as we move into the off-season. Our starting five is sadly leaving us. Let's start with Donovan Clingan, UConn's big man, the center. He's been attacking at the rim. He was great on defense, and he declared for the draft. A little bit of a surprise to us. He was a little 50-50 on it. He could have stayed another year, developed, but the way he played in the off-season, he's going to move on to bigger and greater things, and we're happy to see him, move on.
Yeah, like this past season, he totaled 455 points, and compared to last season, he had 269. So that's almost doubled what he had the season before. And I think, like you said, he had an incredible off season. Like each game, there wasn't really a night or a game that he was off. And just comparing to the women's team, looking at how Nika Mule guarded Caitlin Clark, a lot of people were like, that's how she got her invitation to do that WNBA draft. And that's kind of what happened with Donovan Clingan. He really proved himself during the postseason, and I think he's definitely going to be a really maybe top 10 pick, definitely.
We love to see that. And now Alex Karaban, a little bit of a surprise, again, to see him leaving. However, he's still keeping his eligibility to come back to UConn in case he doesn't get drafted. He had a great regular season, making shots, doing the plays that he needed. However, in the postseason, we really saw a downfall of Alex. His defense was so great throughout the postseason. He guarded Zach in the Final Four, the championship. A little bit of a surprise to see him there, but he was doing great. However, his shooting in the postseason was, quite frankly, mediocre. He was missing shots. He wasn't really getting open to take shots. And if he doesn't get drafted, we'd love to see him come back.
Yeah, I agree. He was an incredible player in the regular season. I know we've said it once, and I'll say it again, honestly. He's a behind-the-scenes player that even if he's not making points or contributing to the offense, he's doing things behind the scenes that help us gain offense. And just like you said, him guarding Zach Edey, he did a really great job. We talked about this in the last episode. The height difference was just massive. And he held his own, and he did a really great job. And I was also surprised by this announcement that he was leaving. I think it would be better if he stayed one more year and matured. But, if he's ready, he's ready. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Now, moving on to a classic example of a one-and-done. College student or basketball players have to go through 1 year of college to enter the NBA draft. And Steph Castle, 5-star recruit coming into UConn, starter instantly, making a massive impact. He was electric throughout the year. So another sad to see him go, but he's going to move on to do great things. Again, one and done, but he's going to be great in the NBA.
I think in terms of the NBA draft, I think he'll be the top between Alex and Donovan, the players who have declared for the NBA draft. He's an incredible, such a skilled player, and I know he had kind of a rough, shaky start with his injury at the start of the season, and solo ball had to come in for him. But he really, he kind of just bounced back and just really flourished. And, a lot of freshmen, they can show a lot of uncertainty and not much experience in the postseason, but he was smooth sailing. He did a really great job, especially in the Alabama game. He flourished.
Now, two players that we knew were leaving, and it's still sad to see him go. Tristan Newton, he has been UConn's maturest player. He has been amazing throughout the season. Most outstanding player in both national championship games, and sound like a broken record, but he's going to move on to do really great things in the NBA. Hopefully he gets a high pick. Hopefully he goes to somewhere great, maybe meeting up with a couple of our UConn alums. Nothing else to say about him. He's just been amazing.
Yeah, there's nothing more. He was inducted into Huskies of Honor. He's definitely going to be missed on the team, especially with his maturity and experience.
Now, last of our starting five, Cam Spencer. He has been UConn's main shooter. Making threes all over the court. He could just get himself open no matter where he was. He'd back up, take shots, run around the court, making threes, making layups, doing everything that UConn needed him to do, coming out of Rutgers. And I think I don't see him going very high, but whoever gets him, he is going to be amazing in the NBA. His shooting ability is just undeniable. He's going to do really, really great things. On a bit lighter news, Hassan Diarra is staying for another year. UConn's sixth man is, we needed him back, honestly. Mm-hmm. He has been the best player off the bench, undeniably. He won the sixth man award. I'm very happy to see him coming back. He's been a great player. Hopefully he can get the starting rotation a little bit. And thanks for coming back, Haas.
Yeah, sixth man, like you said, he's returning. I think that he's really going to fill the void that Cam Spencer left in the team, as well as a future transfer that we'll be talking about later in the episode. And yeah, he's a really good defensive player, and I think he'll just get some good starting reps in next season. And he'll be a really fun player to watch, and I think he'll definitely be a leader for the new freshmen coming in as well. Now moving on to additions into the team, we have two new transfers coming in, and that is Terrence Reed Jr., who's a former Michigan center, and Aiden Mahaney, who was a forward from St. Mary's. Going to Terrace, he's a 6'10 center who will really help us fill the void for our big man Donovan Clingan. He's known to always be swatting away balls at the rim. He's also a really good offensive player as well, and he will be a junior next year, so that's really good to have that older depth, if you know what I mean, and older player on the team. And he also played in 32 of Michigan's games this past season, starting 31. So he has that experience of being a starting player, and like I said, he's going to fill the void perfectly for Donovan. Now moving on to Aiden Mahaney. He's a 6'3 guard transferring from St. Mary's, and he will be a junior next year as well. So him and Terrace can really bond together, being the same age, as well as kind of having the same amount of experience, kind of helping younger players as well. He could be a really good replacement for Cam Spencer, and just switching back between him and Haas on the court, I think would be really beneficial for the team, as well as for gaining offensive points.
We saw that transfer magic when Cam came over, so hopefully we get a bit of the same skill set.
It was Joey California, and then there was Cam Spencer, and now it's Aiden Mahaney. History repeats itself. Now moving on to our freshman signing. Move away, Cooper Flag, because we now have Liam McNeely, a 6'8 forward and the number 9 overall recruit from the 2024 class. He's from Richardson, Texas, and he chose UConn over Arkansas, even though he was originally committed to Indiana, but was asked to be released last month. With the possibility of Alex Karaban leaving us next year, I feel like he could also, I know we keep saying filling the void, but that's exactly what Dan Hurley's doing. He's shuffling the cards, but adding the same cards back in, but with different players.
We saw two players leave, go to the draft, and we had that huge void, and guess what happened? We repeated.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley has built that culture. He has that coaching ability to get new players in. Cam, who heard of Cam? Sorry. But at Rutgers, he was, a smaller name. Mm-hmm. Cam Spencer came to UConn and exploded. So, with the transfers and recruits, Dan Hurley knows what to do.
Yeah, it couldn't be more of a better time for a three-peat with this new roster, and it'll be an exciting season next year. But that's all we have for you guys today. I'm Avery Becker.
And I'm Noah Keaton, and this is Hurley's Hoops.
We'll see you next year.